Would you care to put your amendment in that case?
Yes.
Cool.
In light of the discussions we've had, in recommendation 2, after as referred to in paragraphs 6 to 10 of this report, that it state, together with the following commitment, that the amount of funding agreed in the climate action strategy will be protected regardless of changes in funding sources. And I put that bearing in mind what's been said about affordability and our commitment to the future.
Thank you. Is that amendment seconded? Thank you. Marianne Fredericks. Marianne, do you wish to speak on the amendment?
Thank you, Town Clerk. I think after all that's been said today, I think leadership needs to be shown. This is a small amendment. It confirms our cast iron commitment to the greatest issue that is facing our generation and our children and grandchildren. And I think that Natasha's amendment should be well supported given the comments made already by members of the court. My Lord Mayor.
Thank you. Would any member wish to speak on this amendment? And we are trying to type it up to present it to you before you vote.
Would help to see the amendment to know.
It is being typed up. We didn't get full notice of it, Mr. Ingham Clark, so it's having to be typed up as I speak to you.
Apologies, Town Clerk. The amendment was provided in advance, but as part of a larger amendment. I'm happy to repeat it if that helps.
It's the presentation. If you would repeat it, that would be helpful. We're trying to get it typed up as well.
Of course. In recommendation 2, after as referred to in paragraphs 6 to 10 of this report, that it states, together with the following commitment, the amount of funding agreed in the climate action strategy will be protected, regardless of changes in funding sources.
We are attempting to put this on the screens, honourable members. Mr. Ingham Clark.
Having now, my Lord Mayor, having now heard that amendment, I'm not sure I exactly understand what is meant by should the funding sources change. But as we have said in the strategy, we have been extremely clear that it needs to be flexible on its finances, and in such a way we will in each and every year not only be presenting a report to members showing what we've achieved, but also reflecting on what still needs to be done and using a green lens on every project that goes ahead. We will be ensuring that the right resources go towards this particular strategy. I do not think that it is sensible for this court to shackle future decisions by this court in the light of future developments in climate action with this particular amendment. And from what I've seen so far, I shall be voting against it, and I urge members to do so as well. Thank you, my Lord Mayor.
Thank you. I have John Fletcher.
Thank you, Town Clerk. Just to say, I'll be voting against this amendment. I don't think flexibility will be the secret to success and not rigidly tying people to targets. So I'm voting against because I think there's more than enough targets in there, and we need the flexibility provided by the original motion.
Thank you, Mr. Fletcher. Sheriff Hayward.
My Lord Mayor, this amendment may sound innocuous, but don't be fooled. In my opinion, the wording of this sounds a bit like a blank cheque to me. It talks about regardless of sources. And I would be very concerned if we were to slip this in today without knowing where that funding is coming from. We've made the commitments we can make at this time, but we really cannot start extending blank cheques to any project in the corporation in a post-COVID environment. So I would urge all members to err on the side of caution on this and not to insert this amendment.
Thank you, Sheriff. I have Keith Bottomley, I believe, under a point of order.
My Lord Mayor, thank you. This amendment repeats precisely one of the points in the motion that we've just debated fully and voted against. So in the interest of making best use of honourable members' time in what has been a lengthy court, can I move that the question now be put, my Lord Mayor?
Thank you, and Alderman Hales has seconded. Therefore, is the court agreed that the motion now be put? Can I take it as agreed? Only if you wish to vote against that, could you put it in the chat box, please? Only if you wish to vote against, could you put it in the chat box? And this is that the question now be put. I think that's overwhelming. So Natasha Lloyd-Owen, to sum up before the question is, the amendment, sorry, is now put.
Thank you. To be clear, the amendment does not seek, nor does it express, a blank cheque. We have been very loud and rightly so proud about the 68 million funding envelope that will be available, and it is set out within the papers. We have repeatedly heard throughout the committee period very properly about that being affordable. There has been reference to that being reviewed and going up and down on an annual basis. My concern was that after the fanfare of this announcement, after the Green Horizon Summit is done, it's very important that we don't risk reducing what has been described as utterly affordable and fully costed. It doesn't give a blank cheque. It doesn't suggest anything more than our very financially savvy and often conservative members have suggested is appropriate. And that's why I'm seeking this amendment, so that the members of the public can be clear that it is a commitment and not just an ambition. Thank you, my Lord.
Thank you, and thank you to Alderman Hales for the clarification in the chat box that members are now voting only on the words in red. You will then vote